All right. There they are. It's good to see you guys. So I'm just going to give you a quick disclaimer that it does feel like it's been months and months of time when it's really been weeks. I think that it's actually normal, supposedly, for people to try to get a retrial. And the reason for this one, unfortunately, is not really an accident. So this one's hard. What I want to do is show you guys the clip. So I was watching the episode with Nate that I did because we had just interviewed and he said he was going to play it on Courtroom Insider. So I went and did that. And then as I'm watching, this clip popped up. And I remember worrying from what the juror said that this is going to cause an issue. So I want to talk to you guys about what it is, show you the clip. And then what I also want to do is I want to tell you guys about what I really think is going on and then what I think it means for the future and my feelings with all of this. So let me just pull up the clip for you guys and we'll get to it.
Yeah. Do you remember your reaction learning that she has been convicted in killing her 2 children?
You know, I feel sorry for her. You know, I mean, driving home yesterday, I was like, God, she's spending the next 3 lives in prison in a cell. You know, I mean, you got to feel sorry for her, even though, I mean, that's awful thing to do. I mean, there's something wrong up here, but still, you know, you just feel awful about it.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what I think happened. I think he might have misspoke. I don't know if he just said the wrong thing at the wrong time. And yeah, this is a good point. So first of all, let's do this. Let's make sure we don't cause any hate here. Okay. We're not here to judge this guy. We're not here to, you know, make him feel worse. This is what caused the uproar that I thought was going to come after. So for me, this is what was hard because obviously I don't want to go through this again as much as anybody else who's been affected. To the thought and the imagination, or not the imagination, the idea that this could rerun back with a new jury and just throw out what happened and have her redo it would be horrible. So these are the documents. I'm going to share these with you guys. This is the document that came out. And basically, it says Lori Daybell requests that the court grants her a new trial. The motion is filed. Let's get past that part. Okay. The facts. Juror misconduct. On April 28, 2025, it came to the attention of this defendant, the advisory council, and later the court, that the juror 15 made a statement indicating he had knowledge of this defender's prior conviction. Exhibit 1, Fox 10 News. So that puts us at a point where this could be a problem. It could be a problem, and we can't ignore that. When I heard it, I thought the same thing. I thought that is definitely something that would cause a stir. That could easily be the reason why this actually gets consideration. Now, let's go back to where he was at, and let's think about the position that this guy was in, okay? So, number one, they just finished and convicted her. Number two, they just were told that they're allowed to look up the case. I was listening to an interview that he did on Hidden True Crime just to listen to what he had to say. I couldn't find a part where he addresses it, and maybe I didn't watch it long enough. But really what happened was he said he went out and in the jury room, he looked up the case. So he's flooded with information now. Then he goes outside and the media is just ready to talk to you. And if you've never been in that position where you're standing there and a bunch of cameras and stuff come up, it's a lot of pressure and it's a lot to deal with. So what I'm thinking is this does give her a good basis of, unfortunately, gives her a basis of possibly doing this again. This is the second page. And basically, let me zoom in for you guys. But it says, he was leaning towards not guilty and vote up until yesterday, although all through deliberations. The prior conviction involved in the homicide of her children in Idaho in 2023. This defendant did not testify in this trial, and this conviction was not presented by the state Rule 404. Because this case is such a high-profile matter, once a jury was released from its admonition, jurors were free to speak to the media. During the interview, Juror 15 was asked about his reaction upon learning of the defendant's prior convictions. He stated the following: "Yeah, you know, I feel sorry for her. Driving home yesterday, I was like, God, she's spending the next 3 lives in a prison cell." Exhibit 1 at 302. Again, we're addressing this for this reason. That's obviously a very clear statement that puts him in a position of saying, I knew the whole time. And he said that the day of the conviction, as you just watched. So he couldn't have possibly driven home and known about her 3 life sentences because she hadn't been convicted the night he drove home and said he had that. What I think this would probably mean, and I don't know if this is going to be a big deal or not. This is when I heard this, I was worried, to be honest with you. And the reason why you worry about it is because no one wants to go through this at all. It has to happen for justice. You have to put your personal things aside and deal with the pain. But the reality is no one wants this to happen again. What I do think this means is I personally don't think they're going to do an entire retrial off of his statement. And I'm pretty sure the reason he interviewed with Hidden True Crime was to clear up himself. So I think that we really have to think about that. Lori already has her spotlight. Lori already gets to do this again for Brandon's. And that is a position of power that she wants. And that's a position that she obviously wants to continue to be her own lawyer. I personally don't think, even with this, at first I was worried, and I talked to a lot of people and asked a lot of questions, and a lot of people did feel like this was one of those situations where it's like, wow, this is definitely more than just nothing. And the first feeling that I felt personally was, I don't want to have to go through that again. And I don't want to lose the justice that was served and feel that pain and have another jury come in. Because I look at it from the jury's perspectives as well. We have to understand they're human beings, and you're sitting there being put through a different kind of trauma, I guess, and a different kind of pain. And that is really hard. And I feel for the jurors. And they have to live with that for the rest of their life. So again, we're not here to cause hate for this man, and we're not here to say he could have misspoke. And regardless if he did or not, if the trial is redone, if she retrials this whole thing, I am preparing myself for the thought, and the reality is, if it does go back to another trial, I would stand there and do the same thing for Charles to get the justice he deserves. And the reality is, if there was another trial, I think any jury would see what they saw, the way that Trina presented it. And I don't think that there's really much to debate on there. Now, the problem is you feel the fear of the whole time that you're holding on to the edge, wondering maybe they got duped because she's so good at sounding so innocent. and that would be a real problem. But again, when I played this clip for you guys and showed you this, I just want to reiterate, we are not here to say anything disrespectful about, I think his name is Carl. I don't want to say anything disrespectful. I saw that in the chat. I don't know if that's true. We're not here to disrespect anybody. Anybody could misspeak in a high pressure situation like that. And regardless, if it does happen, let's just say, because it's already done, it can't be changed. And she's going to look for anything she possibly can to keep her run. She is looking for something to keep her going. And what's interesting for me is I'm learning a lot about how narcissists think. And I'm learning that they need a supply, and this is her only supply she has. She doesn't have anybody to cling on to. She doesn't have anybody to really manipulate right now. She doesn't have anybody to like get what she's looking for out of, right? And so this is her only opportunity to, you know, have her moment, have her day, and put herself in position, unfortunately, to keep this going. This must mean a lot to her. This must be something fun, maybe something to do. I did see Fox's video, I think earlier, just popped up on my YouTube, and it was her cell. And it was talking about what it looks like and her sitting in there. And I just thought about the reality of that situation. I don't know if you guys have seen it. You can look it up. And basically, she's in there cooped up with nothing but a tablet, basically with no connection to the outside world. I don't know who talks to her, but she doesn't have anybody to latch onto other than possibly the people around her, which is very unfortunate. And this is the only thing she's got for the next little bit. And then she has to live with herself for the rest of her life. You have to think about the reality of that. And I think people like her who are very narcissistic are driven by a desire to control. And when you don't have that, what do you do with it? So I've already tried to piece this in my head. I've already tried to get inside of her mind, and it's not going to work, and that's fine. That's okay. How do I feel about this? I'd be lying if I told you that if this actually came back to another trial, that would not rip my heart out for Charles and for our family and for everyone who cared about him, to have to sit through that all over again and know that she's double manipulating, because we already knew she was manipulating the jury, but to have to watch it all over again for the same exact thing, I can't put that into words. So we're not there though, right? That's part of what anxiety is. Anxiety is the fear of the unknown, and you kind of make up a scenario in your head and you start worrying about it like it's real. This isn't real yet. This hasn't happened yet. And I don't have to sit here and worry about it yet. So it's a kind of, if it happens, we'll talk about it, we'll deal with it, and I'll stand there again the best I can, and I'm sure everybody will. We'd all do it again if we had to. Just like the fact that when they split the trials for Chad and Lori, we stood there twice for Tylee and JJ and Tammy. And that's just how you have to look at it. The reality of what reason I brought this video up is I just wanted to continue to talk about continuing to be resilient and what that means. And the resilience really comes with, you know, you can't change the outcome of something. You know that you have no control. And it's like so funny to think that your whole life you try to do these things, and then there's so much out of your control, and it's kind of like you plan and God laughs. And I'm not saying that in the situation, but what I am saying is we think things differently, and then God thinks completely differently from that. And it makes me remember to stop trying to be in control, right? Trying to put my hands on it. That's what causes that fear and that anxiety, is that I can't tangibly do anything and you feel helpless. And that's a real feeling. And I address that. But that doesn't mean that my whole life should revolve around this all again. So I just wanted to bring this up because I really feel that this is not really going to go anywhere. I don't think that Lori's going to get another a retrial for Charles. I don't think that this is enough. In my own opinion, my unlawful, uneducated opinion, and I say unlawful because I don't know anything about law, but like, I just don't believe that this is enough to completely sign off and make this an entire retrial. I'm sure she'd love that. And I'm sure that she would be waiting and is waiting on the edge of her seat for this. What we're looking forward to now in the future is that Brandon's going to get the justice he deserves, that we're going to continue to close the book for everybody. Everybody will be able to say, I can now heal, which is the most important, and then take the necessary steps to keep moving forward in life. And for me personally, one thing I've been trying to do and focus on for you guys, and a part of my passion and feeling, is I've been working on a lot of new projects for you guys. And I just can't wait to show you what I've been thinking and feeling and how to express some of this stuff to you guys in a different way, rather than just the sit downs and talks, which I love and will always do. But I think that there's something more I can show you guys visually that I can't always put into words. And it's more on that emotional side. And that's kind of where I'm at, is actually dealing with my emotions. And let me tell you, at 29, opening the book and dealing with your emotions from your whole life, bro, freaking is not fun. It's not fun. But I feel strong enough to say that I'm glad that I'm doing it, because then that means that that book can also have a beginning, middle, and end, and I can be a better person. And I always just want to help remind us that it is every day it's a choice, and Lori has her choices, and they're hers. I have nothing to do with it, and that's what she wants to do and try to get this retrial done. This is on her. So we're not going to let her worry us. See, what I wanted to do too is remind you guys, is don't worry about your life. And that's something so clear that I just was reading the other night in Matthew. Stop spending so much time with anxiety, so much time with so much. Here, you know what? I'm getting my notebook. Hold on. You've never seen me stand up on live. You didn't know if I wore pants or if I had underwear on. That was inappropriate. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. You never know. I got pants on every time. All right. Where'd I write it down? Maybe I didn't write it down. Am I crazy? Huh. Oh, no. Maybe it was in Psalms. Okay, here it is. It's in Psalms. I'm sorry. He's glad you had pants. Me too. I'm just saying, you think about it. You guys never see me stand up on stream. I actually had a lady, I met her at the trial, and I was standing there, and she goes, "You're way taller than I thought you were." And I was like, she's like, "You should stand up on your streams." And I'm like, you guys are just going to see my ashy knees. So I don't know if you want to see that. And I'm always wearing pants, but you never know. I could have the nice top. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Proverbs 3. And I was writing down my notes, and I said, do not carry a heavy heart, and then said, do not worry. And I know that in the Bible, it's very clear that God tries to tell you not to worry, but how much of our lives do we spend worrying? Sorry, I know that was really short, but it was definitely worth it. How much of your time are you worrying about things that are out of your control? How much of your time are you spending every day with anxiety that you don't deserve to have? How much time are you spending on things that are not in your control? And that's hard. It's hard to let go. It's hard to let go of the safety of an idea, the safety of the idea that you are going to let something that feels uncontrollable but is bothering you go. That's like a really mature thing you have to do. And I'm not saying that I am. I still have to remind myself to not worry about all kinds of things. So I brought up the other day too. Remember, I brought up I talked about using ChatGPT as a therapist. And I don't mean literally, just mean bouncing ideas off of. I think ChatGPT was made to bounce your ideas off of. You come and formulate your ideas and it helps you bullet point your mind. So it's kind of a good thing for you sometimes to work out an idea in your head. And, you know, that's kind of my point, is like working it out in whatever way you need to and dealing with it is going to be your saving grace in life. So I just want to remind you of that, remind you of it. You got to see me stand up on stream for the first time. We just made history tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You guys know I love and appreciate you. I guess to remind you to just not spend so much of your life worrying and start really focusing on what matters. And remember that you matter, that you're loved, that you're cared for, that you're worthy of being loved. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Love you. We'll talk more about this if it really goes anywhere, which I don't think it will. And very soon, I will be sharing these new projects. There's a lot more to be looking forward to. I really, honestly, I hope they're as good in my brain than they are for you guys. So I really hope that they're good. But appreciate you. Love you. I'll keep you up to date on the community tab. I hope you guys have a great night. And remember that you are loved. Good night.